Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the call-in show. If you're just tuning in, maybe coming over from the Talking Jets draft with myself and Dom C, we had a whole hour discussing what the Jets offensive line could look like in the event they select a weapon or Brock Bowers at the top of this draft. Guy gave a few names to watch out for in the third round. So if you're just tuning in, make sure you head over to the Talking Jets channel to go check that out. We're going to be doing the call-in show tonight. It is going to be a not 15. It's going to be a 3-minute timer, which my Stream Deck is not working right now and doesn't want to show the 3-minute timer, so I will have to, boom, pop it up manually. Sorry about that. After 3 minutes, you get ejected from the cockpit. That's right, boys and girls. Normally, I talk to the chat for a little bit, but I want to get into your calls, want to hear some of your thoughts and whatnot. See where you guys' heads are at now that we are a little bit closer to the NFL draft. We're going to go over to Charles, then we got Jake, then we got Joe on the line, and I see Cameron and Joe in the background as well. Let's go over to Charles first. Charles, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. I watched your mock draft with Dom C. It was, put it simple to the point, it was pretty interesting.
It's not necessarily the route I'd go, but I trust Dom C in a lot of different directions. So
I know a lot of Jet fans are obsessed with Brock Bowers, and don't get me wrong, I've seen his highlights. He's a very talented football player. He's a very handsome young man. He can catch the ball. He can run routes. He can block. But I know a lot of people are saying don't take him. We need offensive linemen. Look, I don't think it's wrong taking an offensive lineman with the 10th overall pick. I don't think it's wrong trading down to get an offensive lineman. The thing is, well, I'm still happy with a lot of the free agent signings that we get throughout the offseason. You can't have too much insurance. You can't have too many big boys on the offensive line of the football. Thing is, are there any still offensive linemen that are still free agents in the NFL?
Sure. Yeah, there's plenty. I guess it just depends on how much you want to spend, right? Like in my mind,
and Jonah Williams.
I think the Jets are definitely going to be taking a look at Bakhtiari and Connor McGovern. I think those are going to be the two that get added in the summer at some point. McGovern maybe before the draft, maybe just after the draft. I think he comes in before maybe a Bakhtiari does. I don't think Bakhtiari is going to be able to pass physical for a bit, so I think we got some time on any potential addition from him.
You know what? Connor McGovern has definitely impressed me during his 4 years with the Jets. He's definitely not a bad football player. He's definitely above average, but he's not great. But last year he was playing very well for us before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Now, as far as weapon at the top of the draft, are you specifically offensive line, or do you want to go with would you be more open to a wide receiver? It's just Bowers that you're not necessarily on board with.
𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐭 looks pretty good. I heard people talk about Brian Thomas Jr. on Neighbors. But the one receiver I was very impressed with, especially from Washington, I think is 𝐂𝐴DUNZE is his name.
Yep.
He very much impressed me. I'll never forget that shootout between Washington and Oregon, between Michael Penix and Bo Nix. That kid 𝐂𝐿DUNZE impressed the shit out of me that game. Once again, really I do a shit job in watching college football, so keep that in mind with me as well.
So 𝐂𝐿DUNZE for me it would be my top option, realistically, if he's available. I think 8, 9 is where I could see him going. 9 to the Bears is kind of where I've had him penciled in. But if he's available at 10, I'd run the pickup. I'd be stoked with 𝐂𝐿DUNZE.
I still don't think trading up for Marvin Harrison Jr. is a possibility. It seems very unrealistic, but you never know. I mean, I know that's been a long while since we talked about the Daniel Jeremiah trade. Anyway, peace out.
Boom! You've been ejected, Charles, from the cockpit. This is not as easy as I normally am able to do this. I usually click one button and all this stuff happens and things come off the screen. And I'm triggering a bunch of scenes. by the click of a mouse. So I apologize if it's a little clunky tonight. Oreo comes in. Oreo is saying, where is it? Boom. Thoughts on the NFL banning the hip drop tackle. Soft. So I will say this. One thing that, there's a few things that happened today that I do think make you consider Bowers or Weapon or anything like that, maybe a little more seriously. And one of those is Robert Saleh saying that Mike Williams will not be ready for the start of training camp. So, Weapon does become a little bit more, maybe of a pressing need if you're seeing a similar timeline to Breece Hall, where maybe he didn't really click until a few weeks into the season, or maybe they didn't feel comfortable with him clicking until a few weeks into the season. Maybe there's something similar to that with Mike Williams. He's got to develop some type of chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. So maybe Weapon does, become a little bit more elevated. The other thing, like Oreo is saying, is the banning of the hip tackle. And this tackle is I don't think they should have banned it, first off. But I do think that it creates some interesting potential dynamics in two different ways. And we did discuss this with Dom C over on the Talking Jets channel just before this, but I'll recap it briefly. Defenses right now playing a lot of extra safeties or corners, dime packages, things of that nature. So you're playing small ball because these corners were able to do a hip drop tackle and, just make the tight end or a bigger, player stumble a little bit easier because you're tripping them up. Now, that could mean that someone like a Brock Bowers becomes slightly elevated, a guy that has been elite at the college level in forced missed tackles, now is going to be going against potentially much smaller corners trying to bring him down. So maybe there's something to that. Could you see more heavy personnel on defense now because of this to try and counteract that type of tight end impact? Now, if you do that, now all of a sudden you have the potential to maybe score some more points with some of your faster weapons. And Bowers and his speed, maybe that's something to consider. Maybe it's just more of a wide receiver thing and you bring in, a Odunze or someone in the third round or something like that. But either way, the NFL wants to score more points. This past year, I believe they scored about 43 points on average per game between the two teams, and that's down from 2 years ago where it was almost 50 points. I think it was 49. So the NFL does like to see more scoring, and I think that banning this particular type of tackle could lend to maybe some more points, or maybe a slightly different way that you might address offense defense. It's going to be interesting to see just sort of how this impacts. It may not be felt for a few years. It might take a little bit of time. Hennessy says we need more draft picks, not less. Cannot trade up, so he's not an advocate, it sounds like, for going after a Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, let's head over to Jake. I want to hear Jake's comments on this. Jake, how you doing tonight?
Ryan, quick question.
Yeah.
Can you just get a towel and cover that Zach Wilson thing behind you?
So I realized it. I realized that was up when I was doing the Talking Jets show with Dom, and I've had it for like a month, and it's not meant to be Zach Wilson. That was a dummy test run because I had to slice the jersey to actually make what that is. I'm gonna have two. I'm gonna have a Revis and a Corbett. I just am waiting on DHgate to actually send me my jerseys. So that's a prop that is back there. It's all shredded up on the backhand side.
Yeah, dude, you sound like a politician right now with saying this, but
I'll show you. I'll show you what it looks like on the backhand side. Boom, all sliced open. Bam. So it's a wooden frame. I made it myself. Got my miter saw, came out, sliced it up. Gonna have a nice little raised jersey action in the back.
Did you buy an authentic jersey?
Fuck no, that's a DHgate Wilson. No way. I said after Sam Darnold, I'm not buying another quarterback's jersey for our team because everything goes wrong. And I fucking bought a Rodgers jersey and he tore his Achilles.
Bro, I stopped buying a jersey since Jamal Adams. I was like, until someone gets to a second contract, I don't waste money on jerseys anymore. I surprised I haven't. I'll donate it to you if you like. I'll give it to you. I don't even care at this point. But anyway, so the news. Wait, also, didn't we hear that now they can review roughing the passer calls? I think that was something that wasn't mentioned today, wasn't it?
If it was, I didn't catch that. I saw there were three things that happened. It was the hip drop tackle. It was reviewing. I don't know if it was a scoring play. I didn't really understand the second one.
I think they're starting to allow people review like roughing the passer calls that are controversial.
I like that.
I think was something about that. That was actually the best news to hear because I think that's been driving fans and coaches and everybody in the league just insane because you
Mhm.
watch it so evident on television and the refs just stand there and just like, well, we have to go by the call. And I'm like, that changes the whole game right there. I mean,
It does.
I think that's very important, honestly, if we're just getting off topic from the Jets. I just think that's going to go a long way, especially like in close games in the playoffs where you can see like a cheap hit or something and that can make a big deal. But
Mhm.
yeah, I just want to bring that to attention first. I know everyone's talking about the hip drop thing, whatever,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, look, I'll say this every week. I'm going to keep saying this every single week. You have Aaron Rodgers. He was out for the season last year because of our line. If anyone here really believes me to be wasting draft picks to move up or taking one player, it's insane. I want plans A through Z with offensive line. Please just trade down. Please just trade down and just get a pick. You can get a wide receiver in the second round. Or if you really, 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 really believe this, is you can always just trade down and get a receiver in the first round and go offensive line from rounds what would be second to third or whatever the case we're doing with trade up and trade downs. We talked about it last week, but I just think at this point you have to have every opportunity because Tyron Smith's going to go down. Morgan Moses is going to go down. ABT has shown you he's going to get injured. And I'm not saying go down like they're out for the season. I'm saying they're going to miss games. That's
Mhm.
inevitable. They're going to miss games. And even Mike Williams, we know he's going to miss games. So they need to have depth. And I think we talked so much about having the backup quarterback as so-called the depth move that we needed last year. You need
Mhm.
it across the board for the offense because Rodgers cannot be in a situation where he's running for his life. I just can't see it. I can't even picture that because I remember watching like highlights of the Bills game, like for the 4 minutes he played, he was running
Mhm.
for his life every single play.
It was like
I
three of the
mean,
four snaps. It was like one
yeah,
run and then three running for his life. The one
yeah,
before
and
he
if it
tore
makes
the Achilles, it was like, oh man, Rogers gonna get hit.
Yeah, and you think about look, Mekhi Becton just got a job with the Bengals. How long did it take for him to get a job? Oh, this guy's the best left tackle when he's healthy. I'm like, no, it shows you that we didn't have the protection for him last year at
Mhm.
all. And I don't know what's going on with McGovern. Look, McGovern's had his problems too. I think the reason why they went with Tippmann at center is because they're fairly confident to know that he is the future. They drafted him to be the future, and I yelled about it
Becton
last
went
year
to
when
the
I'm like,
Bengals. I didn't realize that.
yeah, he
Didn't
did.
Trent Brown go to the Bengals also?
Yes, he did. He did.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
think about it. I mean, look, if you want Joe Burrow to stay upright, because as much as
Sure.
we're lucky, because at least Rodgers' contract's going to end, they're stuck with Burrow's contract. So if he gets out for the season again, you imagine they're going to be down Shit's Creek at that point. So we
Oh,
have to
for
be in a
sure.
position to protect them, and I'll say this every week up to the end of April. So
Jake, thank you so much for your call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. I'm going to edit this a little bit. We're not going to do the whole nice transition thing because this is really tough when I don't have my stream deck working. We're going to Joe. Joe, how you doing, brother?
What's up, man? How's it going, Connor? I mean, sorry.
Oh, come
Ryan.
on. I know I'm not. I'm good looking like Connor, but no, it's okay. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. I recently just put up my Laverne Coles poster. I saw that in my room, but yeah.
I like it. I have the
What's
same
up?
Quinnen Williams poster in my closet, actually. I have. We're going to be
that's-
giving it away at the draft party. If you haven't gotten your tickets, talkingjets.com draft party.
I got this also. Anyway,
Ooh,
sorry.
fresh.
Just got it. At 72, I saw you guys doing many moves, or what was it? Dom C was talking about 4 minutes, and I heard you kind of hurry up, basically.
I was like, shut up, we got to go.
Yeah, but I think personally, either we go at 10, we either trade back and get Fatanu from Washington or take
Mhm.
Bowers straight up there. But at 72, either go Zach Zinter. I've been saying this from day one of scouting, really. I love Zach Zinter. Although he had the leg injury, he's still a very solid interior O lineman.
I'd love to
And
get him.
obviously, I think someone's going to get injured on the line, and obviously he'd be a great pickup. Or we go Jalen Polk at wide receiver because everybody is talking about weapon. We need weapon, and I agree. But I don't think we need to go 10 at weapon. I think we can go later rounds. Maybe get Brandon Rice, Jerry Rice's son. Love him.
Yep.
I think he's good. But yeah, I'm not sure about the Bowers at 10. I feel like we either. I mean, obviously the default one has been Fashanu for a while. I think that's kind of changed a bit.
Mhm.
But either we trade back or if we do pick Bowers at 10, I wouldn't be mad.
Mhm.
And yeah, also with the hip drop tackles, you're basically diminishing cornerback and safety tackles. That's
Mhm.
what all the cornerbacks do basically. So obviously, I think this is good for Brees because he's going to be demolishing defenses.
He's too fast for
But
linebackers to cover too, and this is a good thing for the Jets.
yeah, but it's a little frustrating because we have smaller corners. I feel like in general, DJ Reed is what 5'9".
Mhm.
Um, but overall, I think the new rule changes were meh. I really hated the hip drop, but the reviewing the roughing the passer is very good move. Um,
I saw it's
yeah, that's
also
all.
intentional grounding too. It sounds like.
Oh, intentional grounding.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't know that. I've been at work all day, so I'm not
yeah.
exactly sure exactly what happened.
Yeah,
But
I
very
will
cool.
definitely look into the tickets, but $124. Oof. Come on, Ryan. Nah.
So to be fair, we are not making money on this event
Ah,
because we've got a whole open bar and food is expensive, and also we got a whole bunch of raffle prizes to give out. So it's really, I don't know. We'll see if it's actually something that we do in the future. But I understand. I gotcha. It's all good, brother.
Damn it.
You have been. Where's my eject button? Ejected from the cockpit. You're out of here. Thank you so much, Joe,
Thank-
for calling in. We've got Jack joining the show. Jack, how's it going, brother?
How you been?
I'm hanging in there. I like your goggles.
What's up, brother?
I am hanging in there. Talk to me. How are you
Yeah.
feeling about this Jets draft?
Man, the Jets draft? I think they should take Bowers, honestly.
Yeah? What are you, Dolphins
Yeah.
fan?
Yeah. Take him at 10? No.
What do you
no,
do
no,
at
no.
72?
72, get an O-line.
Yeah? Anyone in particular you like?
Honestly, just anyone.
Solid. What else you want to
Yeah.
talk about?
I don't know, honestly. I think we
Perfect.
should take
You
Bowers.
have been ejected from the cockpit. All right, we got Joe joining the show. Joe,
Hey, Ryan.
how you doing, brother?
I don't see you.
I don't see you either. I think you got your camera off.
Hold on, let me see. Man.
That's all right. I can still talk to you.
All right, anyway, yeah. So I like what's going on. I think we're doing good with all the moves that Joe Douglas made. And remember a couple of weeks ago, I predicted that, well, not predicted, but I recommended that they get Tyrone Smith.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm glad it happened. Now, a lot of people are concerned about his injury history. I think I'm a little less so because he's not missing games that are like, I shouldn't say not critical because I don't know the individual games that he missed, but he doesn't miss playoff games at least. And that's kind of like get me to the playoffs and be healthy for the playoffs. And then I'm maybe a little less upset.
I like the Morgan Moses.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Move
$5.5
as
million.
well.
How could you not? That was a great pickup.
Man. That caught me off guard, too. I didn't expect that to go down like that quick.
Yeah, no, it caught me off guard because I was looking at like obviously all the free agent tackles and then like some of the higher priced, tackles. Like for me, the Ravens getting rid of him for the picks they got rid of him for tells me they're probably confident they're going to get a solid replacement at pick 30 in the draft. So I don't know. Jets get lucky, maybe, or maybe they're concerned about the injury that he had and we're getting unlucky. God, heck if I know.
I tell you, I like the. Who picked Bowers? Was it what's his name from ESPN?
Oh, Mel Kiper. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kiper has the Jets picking Bowers.
I think that's the way
Jets
they're
are
gonna
right
have
now
to
the
go.
favorite to take Bowers, according to like sports books.
You know what? I think the offensive lineman's out of the question now since we, at least in terms of the first round, since we got all these offensive linemen. I think the guy from Pittsburgh, Gonçalves, is pretty good. If we could get him in the second or third round, even though we don't got a second round pick, but if we could try to get one in the second round, because I don't think he's going to be there in the third.
I do like the idea of trading up from the third in the event we don't take some, like in the event we can't get more picks or trade down, I think getting 2 serious impact players would be huge for this draft. And I'm cool with moving forward, giving away a 2025 pick. I don't want to give away the first necessarily, but I'd be open to moving 25 picks to get into earlier rounds this year.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be an interesting season. I'm looking forward to the draft. I'm looking forward to training camp, and we'll see where we go from there. But I think there'll be, I don't know, something's telling me there might be a trade during.
Joe, thank you so much for calling. You've been ejected from the cockpit. I'm going to go 3 minutes because we've got so many people on the line. Steven, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there. I'm feeling good about the Jets moving forward. How you feeling about your Packers? What you want to talk about?
I'm feeling great, honestly. I'll spend half on your team, half on mine. So start with your team. I honestly like this offensive line class for both of our squads. I personally don't want to, left tackle in the first round because we got a new defensive coordinator. And so I want to go defense first round, preferably Cooper DeJean. Please, Vikings, don't take him because this happens every year. But I would prefer to get Cooper DeJean at 25. Hell, we might even have to trade up to get him. I'd do it. I don't care.
So you would go all the way up to 15 to get Cooper DeJean? Like that's the guy you want?
No. Just jump in front of the Vikings. That's it.
Oh, I got you. There's a lot of good. Are you thinking corner or like safety? Because I feel like there's not necessarily a safety that's going to go in the first round. I feel like you guys could use kind of either one.
Coop is actually a cornerback / safety.
That's what that's kind of where I was going with that.
You get a 2-for-1, and the Vikings actually have 2 first-round picks by the Texans trade or whatever trade they did.
Now, I do think you do have a little bit less to worry about because I think the Vikings are using both those picks to go up for a quarterback. I don't think they'll actually make that pick at 23 or wherever they're at.
I hope they stick with Sam Darnold.
I love Sam Darnold. I would love to see him get a legitimate shot with the Vikings. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking they traded with the Texans to not use that pick. They are positioned the best of any team to go up as high as possible to get a quarterback because Denver doesn't have a second round pick.
They're not gonna get inside the top 3. That's not happening.
So I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure it's not gonna happen. Like we heard rumors today, like the Commanders would be willing to listen to calls. I think the Patriots could be convinced to move back. I would think they'd want to stay.
They're not gonna do that. They traded Sam Howell. They're not gonna do that. But honestly, to get to your team, now that you have 2 stud left tackles, I still say you go tackle, but not as early. Heck, sign David Bakhtiari. When he's healthy,
yeah.
He's the best left tackle in football. And I would want nothing more for him and Aaron to go get a ring together. That would just make me seriously happy, unless they're playing the Packers, obviously. But I say honestly, get any weapon Aaron Rodgers wants. Do what the Packers did. Make him happy.
I love that move. And I think it's something the Jets promised him too. I think when they went out and met him in California, it was like, hey, we're going to give you the Tom Brady treatment. We're going to push all our chips into your corner. And I think they're going to do what the Packers didn't do.
Yeah, if they do that, successful season.
Love it! I'm being ruthless with the eject button tonight. We got Mike the Barber joining the show. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Hey, guys. I'm thinking we're going to have 4 quarterbacks coming off. Then we're going to have 3 receivers coming off. So that's 7. Let's put another defensive guy. That's number 8. And you don't know that maybe there is a corner out there. Everybody loves that Alabama kid. There's something to be said with a shutdown corner. I'm thinking we either move up and try to trade maybe with the Giants. I know they're trying to go get a quarterback, but maybe a second-round pick. Maybe we can get Joe Alt right in front of Tennessee. Or let's – go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that the trade up scenario is always like it's Marvin Harrison Jr. or Joe Alt, and I feel like if we were to move up, let's say to number 5, and both those guys were there, I don't know what direction they would go. I'd be totally
what direction
perplexed.
would you go?
I'll I like Alt a lot more than I think the rest of the offensive linemen. And as much as I like Marvin Harrison Jr., I think his floor is really, really high. I like a lot of the receivers as well. So I don't know necessarily. You know what? I'm going to say weapon. I'm going to stick to my guns here, and I'm going to say weapon because I think you're going all in with Rodgers. You're going to need a wide receiver anyway after it. And like as much as I want the tackle, and I think depth and the PTSD of it all is hitting me, I would go with the weapon. So I'm more of like an Odunze Bowers at 10 as opposed to an offensive lineman. I don't know. What would you do?
I mean, we can't really predict how it's all going to work out, but we do know that there's going to be a ton of quarterbacks and receivers going up early. So we just don't know. But the demand for quarterback is just so high. I mean, you saw the Giants, the owner came out today and he wants this quarterback. He wants McCarthy.
Do you think it's just a bunch of smoke? All these teams talking about it. Like McCarthy could go number 2 now, potentially, and like all this smoke.
I think the kid's a really good kid. I mean, I could see why you would want to build with this kid. This kid really wants to build. I mean, there's not too many kids really like that in this world that really wants to play this game and really,
For sure. I think the mentality is definitely a huge part, especially the quarterback situation. And if McCarthy has that maturity, even if it's a reach, like if you said you would have, heck, if you told me he was going to go in the first round, the first half of the first round a month ago, I'd be like, nah, it's not going to happen. Or maybe 2 months ago, I'd be like, it's not going to happen. Then it's like, okay, Jets could probably trade out of 10. And it's like, oh man, he's going to go top 4. Now people are talking about him even higher. It's a testament to Jim Harbaugh and how he coaches and the pedigree that his quarterbacks have. And obviously the hard work. 25, I think he's 25-1 as a starter, so he's a winner too. I get it. More quarterbacks.
We could trade out of and get Brian Thomas.
I would love to see
another
that.
lineman or something.
I don't know who we could potentially trade out with if the top 4 quarterbacks go before the Jets, because I don't know if we're enticing someone with QB5.
Now,
maybe it's a Penix.
Can he play at number 10 if we pick him? Can he actually run block? Can the kid actually play football in the National Football League?
You could absolutely draft Fashanu. He's not.
Not a 10,
I like the guard. Yeah, I mean, I like the guard tackle hybrid more so, like a Latham or a Fuaga or a Fautanu. But I would absolutely be on board with taking Fashanu. If he's going to be your left tackle for the next 10 years, it's hard to argue against it. I just like the idea of adding someone that is, especially with Mike Williams potentially not starting the season, like that creates a bigger hole for me right now than the offensive line does. Mike the Barber, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys and girls, calling numbers on the screen. I'm going to try and get through all your calls. We're going to do this till about 10 o'clock. I've got Bobby on the line. Bobby, how you doing tonight?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
You, Ryan.
Nice
I
to see you
always
too.
like you. You are awesome all the time.
Thank you.
I saw you and your little girl the other day. She's adorable.
Thank you.
My daughter's going to be 18 in July, so.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, I think the Jets did a great job this year. I think Joe Douglas checked all the boxes that you needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they should go after Joe Alt.
Ooh. Trade up?
Well, I want Joe Alt on my team because the Giants screwed up that year to get. I wanted Zach Martin. They got somebody else. I forgot who.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not want a quarterback for the Giants. I want them to get. We need offensive linemen. We don't need a dumb quarterback.
I saw one of those XY charts with the graphs for the offensive linemen. And the Jets were like second worst, but we were wildly better than the Giants, who were like way bottom left-hand corner of that graph.
I know you got the guy from Dallas. That was a great pickup.
Tyron
and
Smith,
you got Moses back again.
Yep.
And one thing that got me mad with the Giants, you know what got me really mad?
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of Barkley. And guess what team he went to?
He went to Philly, dude. Giant fans totally flipped on Barkley. They're like, this guy's dead to me.
Well, he said he wanted to still play in New York, and then he decides to go to Philly, and then he's going to run all of our defense. I'm telling you right now. Every time the Eagles play us, running backs get like 150 yards.
Mhm.
I can't stand it. And I think the Jets are going to be 11-6 this year.
Mhm. I think
Yeah.
if the line stays healthy and Rodgers stays healthy and the core pieces stay healthy,
Yes, definitely.
I think 12-5 is where the Jets can get to, and I think it's going to
Yeah,
be
12-5, 11-6 is good. Better
Sure.
than last year.
Oh,
And
way
then
better.
I'm happy they picked up Williams. I forgot that pickup.
Mhm.
That was an awesome pickup for you guys.
I like it. I'm a fan. I like the contested catches. I like how Salah said it earlier today. Instead of 50-50 balls, they're 70-30 balls with the way he comes down with them.
You want OBJ on your team?
I would take him. I'm not like gung ho OBJ, but if he could be the slot and like a wide receiver 3 in a sense, God forbid we lose someone else, a Mike, let's say Garrett Wilson goes down. Mike Williams and Odell is still enough weapons for me to work with. Or if Mike Williams goes down, Odell and Garrett is enough to kind of work with. So I like the idea of adding Odell. I know Miami offered him a contract. It sounds like he's sitting on it right now. Maybe he's waiting to see what the Jets want to do, but I would be all right with it.
To pick him up again too.
No, I don't see that happening. Bobby, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Let's go over to Not Hunter. Not Hunter, how you doing?
Yes.
Dolphins
you remember me,
fan.
right?
Oh, I remember you.
Okay. I just want to have a real talk from rival to rival. I want
Let's
to
go.
give my honest opinion to y'all. I want you to do the same for us.
Absolutely.
So, I like what y'all did in free agency. I like the Mike Williams. That kind of scares me. When he's on the field, he's great. Same thing with Tyron Smith. He's like, y'all are getting the pieces, and that kind of worries me. But, I mean, I was the same way last year with y'all. But then the whole Aaron Rodgers week 1, and I mean, I was the same way about
it's hard
the Bills.
to have a season when the star quarterback goes down immediately. It kind of washes everything else out.
But I was the same way about the Bills too. I was like, oh, they're not going to do anything. But then they steal the division from us last week. But I mean,
how do you feel about Tua? Like as a Jet fan, I hope you guys sign him to an enormous contract. I am not threatened by Tua in the slightest. He's good, and I like him. Like I would be happy if the Jets had someone like that, but like I am not like afraid of Tua right now. The same way I'm kind of like not afraid of Josh Allen, and maybe that's more of like the Tom Brady sense is like neither one of those guys have the killer instinct the way he did, and I think that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, I guess.
I wouldn't be afraid of him either. I mean, I think we're going to go get Odell. So, I mean, if you get Odell with Waddle and Hill and you get Jonnu Smith, like, how do you fail with that offense? Like, we have to be the best offense again. And
now, how does your O-line look, though? Because you lost Connor Williams to the ACL. You lost Robert Hunt to Carolina. I don't know who you guys picked up as far as offensive linemen go in free agency.
We got the center from Tennessee, but it's like, if Tua throws the ball in 2 seconds, it doesn't matter who our O-line is, honestly.
Guys get open so fast. I mean, it's the defensive line can't get to him. That's what I was hoping the Jets would do.
If Tua
that's what I was hoping the Jets would do.
Game for us, he's cooked.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. That's his biggest knock right now. But I feel like you're going to have to pay him before that. And if I were him, I would, secure the bag. get what you can get.
Because if he wins, like if we don't extend him during any of this offseason and he balls out and wins us a playoff game, he's going to have us. Like he's going to be begging for that money and we're going to have to give it to him probably. And that kind of scares me too.
I don't like Tua at $50 million. Tua on rookie contract, totally different than Tua at $50 million. I think that would make me nervous if I were you guys.
That's the only thing.
Now, as far as your defense is concerned, you guys wound up bringing in Shaq Barrett. I like that move a lot. I don't know if it like total apples to apples with Christian Wilkins. I like that the age is a pretty big difference at that point. Wilkins coming off his rookie contract. How are you feeling about the defensive side of your team?
We got a new coordinator, so that's a step in the right direction. And I want us to take one of them Texas guys at D tackle to fill the need for Wilkins being gone. But I mean, I think.
Now, do you want Byron Murphy in like the first? Like what?
Yeah.
I guess let me ask you this: what would you prefer in the first? Maybe not so much a player, but maybe a position.
Okay, if we don't get Odell, I want 𝐂𝐧𝐤𝐬. But then if we do get Odell, then I want Byron Murphy.
Wow,
That's
Xavier Worthy on that
one of
team
the
would be
Texas guys.
scary. Just the stupid fast team. Like any kid that plays Madden is gonna be like, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna play with the friggin' Dolphins. Trade for Lamar Jackson, and then that team. Could you imagine if you guys had actually landed Lamar Jackson like last year? We've been absolutely bonkers. Not Hunter.
That's just the Dolphins pick, though.
I appreciate the call. I don't mind you as a Dolphins fan. You're all right. You can call in anytime. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, we got Billy joining the show. Let's see what Billy has to say. Billy? I'm not sure what you're eating, but I like it. I'm just going to let that keep pouring on your head because I'm enjoying it. Just let it go. Let it You have been ejected from the I don't know what the hell was in his mouth. Oh, geez. Let's go over to Hype. Hype, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, Ryan. How's everything?
Hanging in there. I'm feeling confident right now until the injuries happen. What are your thoughts at the beginning part of this draft? What are your thoughts overall?
So I got a couple things I want to go over, and then I'm going to give you my quick mock. So
Okay.
One, a lot of people are asking why we just let Corey Davis go with and got nothing from him. The truth of the matter is Corey Davis's contract was over. The reason that the Jets had to reinstate him is because he retired while still under the contract with the Jets. Even though
I think
his
the contract
was over.
tolls, though, doesn't it? The contract doesn't toll a year if he retires?
No, it doesn't. It goes by year.
Okay.
So that's the reason why. And he still has not even been reinstated by the NFL as of 12 noon today.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So
I just assumed it was
one.
a formality.
No. They have to vote. He has to be voted back in by the owners.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. The second thing that I had was none of the Jets free agent offensive linemen have been re-signed. So that Mekhi Becton to the Bengals, Mekhi went in for a visit. He was not signed. None of the free agents have been re-signed. So that shows, how great our line really was.
I think McGovern's gonna come back. As much as he's a free agent, I do think he comes back.
I absolutely believe that he does as well. So with Keith Carter having these veterans in there, I think his role is going to be slightly downplayed a little bit more, especially after listening to what Woody, Robert, and Joe D had to say today. They're going to put a hold on that strain that he was putting on those vets on the offensive line just to keep them more healthy. It could be more practice, but it's going to be less intense. So I think that's a good move.
Yeah, I do like how they said they were going to address how they handle the offensive linemen in particular, because they felt like there was something that caused the injuries in some capacity, or maybe thought it had some level of impact.
Absolutely. And I agree with Woody. I do not believe that we should just release Zach. I think we need to hold him. We're going to get something for him as long as we hold him. We definitely will. Quarterbacks get hurt. Somebody's going to want him. Somebody's not going to get who they want in the draft. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll take a 5th round pick in 2025. That's fine. Whatever it is at that point.
And as far as my quick mock, I say we're going to go Bowers in the 1st, Blake Fisher in the 3rd, Malik Washington 4th, Braylon Allen in the 4th, Cole Bishop in the 6th, and we can either do defensive tackle or Mr. Irrelevant quarterback in the 4th.
I like that. I do like the way that goes. You were watching Talking Jets draft, weren't you? We were talking about.
I absolutely was, but believe it or not, I had all of this written out from 12 o'clock this afternoon because I was waiting for your show tonight.
I love it. I love it. Hype, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Bringing in the mock draft. I love it. I love it. Let's go over to Alan. Alan's going to be joining the show. Alan, how are you doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Feeling kind of confident. Want to be a little cocky about our Jets.
Yeah. Let me just say that after watching and doing hundreds of mock drafts, I am pretty much not for Weapon in round 1.
Really? Okay.
Not even just like Bowers. I just find that the O-line has been so important, And it's been so bad for us basically since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I do a mock draft or see a mock draft where we take a weapon in round 1 with no trade down, it just turns into this thing where it's like you're trying to find, somebody in round 3 or 4, and you end up with, another Max Mitchell, another guy that's probably not going to make an impact. And there are so many weapons in this draft that round 2, round 3, round 4, you're still finding guys that are going to start on this team.
I would say I'm in agreement. I think there's a big drop off in the offensive line in the first round, and I think there is a much longer leash on the wide receivers because I like Malik Washington in the 4th. I like Brendan Rice in the 3rd. I like a few of the guys that will be available in the 3rd. I think I get the feeling. I feel like the Jets are going weapon at 10. It's a gut feeling, and like maybe it's wrong, but I really think that's the direction they're going to end up going.
And even the high end tight ends that get drafted. I mean, Kyle Pitts. Has he really moved the needle for being the 4th overall pick?
Does Desmond Ridder move the needle for you? Like, I think we'll find out what Pitts is this year with Cousins, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly possible. I mean, Atlanta's loaded with weapons, so I do think for fantasy football purposes that Atlanta will be a target this year.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? I'm there with you on tight ends, and I think there's enough to like be concerned with like how Rodgers utilizes tight ends. Now, I think it's far more likely that Bowers busts at 10 as opposed to like doing something that other tight ends just haven't been able to do. I think it's I would still take Bowers. I'm not afraid of it, but I don't know. It's interesting. I know what you're talking about. Offensive line, it drops off a lot, especially not having a 2nd round pick.
And during your show with Dom C, you guys were talking about what tight ends Rodgers has really utilized, and really by far it was Jermichael Finley. And then
I was gonna say that was a bit ago. That had to be pre-2015.
It was like 4 years. It was like 4 years in a row. I think it was 11 to 14, something like that.
Okay, I'd have to go back a bit.
That was his most productive tight end that he had.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I mean, it's definitely a little concerning based on some of the other numbers. Like Jimmy Graham he had 5 touchdowns in the 2 years total with Rodgers, and it's like, man, that's one of the best tight ends he could have had.
Jimmy Graham never did anything really outside of New Orleans.
He had 10 touchdowns in Seattle the year before Green Bay, and he had 8 touchdowns in Chicago the year after Green Bay. So like kind of like an up and down little bit of career. Really, I didn't follow him too closely. Really after, I would say Seattle, because he went from New Orleans to Seattle, had himself a good year, and then wound up moving on. But Alan, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, boys and girls, I got right. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that one right now. Ryan, what's up, Ryan? How you doing?
Oh my gosh. Solid. All right, Ryan. Let's just be professional here.
I appreciate that.
Move forward. Just as much as it hit you, it hit me. Anyways, moving forward.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, first of all, good to see you, Ryan. Listen, I know we want to ride this little momentum, and it's never fun to go into an off season or a new season rather, being pessimistic. But I have to say, and I'm usually on the positive side, I have to say, I'm not too excited, man. I don't know if I'm just like in the dumps and I've just taken such a beating, but sorry, a little distraught still.
Yeah, I'm thrown off my game.
Yeah, and saying the word beating didn't help either.
No, that doesn't help.
So, anyways, I'm not. I love Mike Williams, the prospect. I don't think he's what we needed as far as consistency, reliability. I'm in love with so many guys that we have in our team, the young talent. But for me, it really comes down to I don't think we have the coaching staff to get to the promised land. Like when I look at certain teams, even if they don't have big names, right? I'm like, okay, they have a nice foundation. Like their coaching staff is no nonsense. They know what they're going to be and who they are. But with us, I kind of feel like we're just dumping everything on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders. And already look, we're already dealing with injuries, and we didn't even get to the draft yet. Mike Williams is nursing something, and we knew that going into it. But I just feel like we still need to bring in another receiver. I don't think we're done. We shouldn't be done. I feel like on the offensive line, we're top heavy, and we need to bring in some contingency plans, like someone kind of like a swing tackle or a swing guard, someone that can fill in and just be, a high floor type of guy, right? He's not going to be the best lineman in the world, but we know he'll stay healthy. We still need some depth there. And I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling so up-gettity about this season. I feel like
even after like the Tyron Smith and the Morgan Moses signing, like all that stuff didn't get your juices flowing.
Oh, I love it. And by the way, Tyron Smith, like everybody says that he gets injured, but like apparently, it's not like he's like tearing ACLs and he's out for the whole year. It's just more like little nicks and picks here. So
hasn't missed a playoff game.
Man. Say it again.
Hasn't missed a playoff game.
That's true too. I hope we get there. That'd be nice.
Oh, yeah, fingers crossed.
But I just have this weird feeling that we're all gonna crash and burn. They're gonna fire everybody. Maybe I'm being a pessimist, but yeah,
that's all right. We've earned the pessimism after how we've handled these last few years. Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Let's go over to Wyatt. Wyatt, how you doing, brother?
Good. How you doing, man?
Hanging in there. Talk to me. How you feeling about our Jets?
Feeling good right now. I mean, good off season so far, in my opinion. Picking up Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses. I have a question for you about the draft.
Shoot.
Being a college quarterback myself, who do you think we should take or if we should take a later round quarterback?
So I really like the 4th round for a quarterback, and it's mainly because we don't have a 2nd round pick. If we had a 2nd round pick, I'd probably be a little bit more on board with maybe a 3rd round pick. I think Spencer Rattler's an interesting name. I like Jordan Travis from the perspective of I think he would have gone a lot higher if he didn't have the injury. And also, I like carrying 2 quarterbacks this year for the Jets. And I think you can IR Jordan Travis, where some of these other quarterbacks like a Pratt or Rattler, I don't think you can stash them on the practice squad. So right. You're going to have to carry 3. And me wanting to carry an extra offensive lineman, that's sort of where I fall. I would be happy with Pratt. I'd be happy with Jordan Travis. I'd be happy with Rattler. And then maybe like a late round pick on like Milton from Texas. I know he's not like a great quarterback, but like the athletic traits are interesting enough to me. Yeah. What about you?
Get a higher ceiling. Yeah, I mean, I agree on Jordan Travis. I think his ceiling's a lot higher than, Michael Pratt or certain guys like that. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Travis, Joe Milton, I mean, you can develop them. I don't know how well the development part of it is, but
I think whatever quarterback we take this year, because I do think we take one in the draft, I think we're going to wind up seeing probably a competition once Rodgers is over. It'll wind up being this, like whatever that quarterback is in year 2, year 3, whatever, plus some veteran quarterback, and then probably if that doesn't work out that year, because we're going to be eating a lot of the dead cap from Rodgers the first season he's gone, then I think we're going to have a situation where the Jets could move up for a top signal caller in whatever draft that ends up being. Yeah. So we kind of get a few cracks at it almost.
Yeah. One more thing I got to say, I do have a weird connection with the Jets. My first collegiate touchdown pass was against Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and Irv Charles was on that team.
No way. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool.
We ended up winning too. So
now, are you a Jet fan like all the way, or did you become one recently?
Yeah, I grew up a Jet fan. I really like Sam Darnold when he came out.
Me too.
Just because, I mean, I've been training quarterback and playing quarterback for a while, and I looked up to him. I really liked him at USC, and things didn't work out for him. But
now, as a quarterback, are you did you love Tom Brady, or was that kind of like the line in the sand for you? Like, can't do the Patriots. I know quarterbacks. I understand if they go that route. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to have a lot of respect for Tom Brady. Like, just the mental side of it. That's honestly, it's 60-40 mental athleticism, and maybe if not higher. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was my favorite quarterback growing up. So.
I love it. I love it, Wyatt. Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Aaron Rodgers, favorite quarterback growing up. Man of the people. Man of the people. Steven dropping in says, Ryan, how do I call in and still watch? And still watch while waiting. Yeah, I guess that is a little difficult. I think when you call in, it probably does have, I think you can watch the show at the same time, but I might have to have you in the green room, so maybe that doesn't work. Phone and laptop or TV or a tablet. It could be anything like that. Now, I used to have an actual call-in phone number, and Google Voice, for whatever reason, when I had a bunch of people calling in, it would like skip a bunch of calls, and it would just like, it wouldn't ring. So that's the only reason I shifted it to a visual call-in show. Although maybe tonight, maybe I should think about that again. But what's cool is I can actually, with this system, I can send the IP address to like report it. So that could, you know, I think it was the kid that was pouring soda on his head because it triggers the same thing in the chat. But we'll see. We'll see where it all shakes out. Boys and girls, we have reached the end of our show. If you haven't done so already, and you're possibly interested in it, I am sponsored by Crescent Canna. 25% off THC seltzers, gummies, little THC syrup. If you guys are into that sort of thing, I have certainly enjoyed it. I've been trying to cut back a little bit on my alcohol consumption. At 30 years old, 34, the body does not react the same way it did in my 20s. It kills my day the next day. So I've been enjoying a little bit of the gummies, a little bit of the seltzer. Been a good time. Boys and girls, if you want to help support the channel, promo code JetsTalk. Get you 25% off. Link in the description down below, or you can click the little link. That Nightbot is dropping in there. Boys and girls, we're going to be sending you over to Green Bean Stream. The 10 o'clock mock going on. Him and Dom C. What is their... I don't even know what the word is. What is their scenario for tonight that they're going to be doing? I'm excited. I'm going to be in the chat. Boys and girls, this is Jets Talk signing off. I'll be back tomorrow with the Talking Jets panel, myself, O'Leary, and Greenbean. If you haven't gotten your Talking Jets draft tickets yet, head over to talkingjets.com. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.